Now, light color is important, and light color has two components to it. One is the color of white light, and then there's also colored light. You probably know that during the day, the color of light changes. It changes from dawn through midday to dusk. This is a painting of a cathedral in France, and it's the same view taken at different times of day, done by the artist. It's nice how he's rendered the different coloring. We can also use that in our designs like this to create a different light effects. And you remember that alarm clock I showed with you before? That was an extreme thing about blue and red light, but actually it also works with color temperatures. White light, which is high color temperature, 6,000 say, creates a very business-like atmosphere. It creates an atmosphere where it's easy to focus on things, but it's also an atmosphere that can overstimulate you. So at other times, or if you want to feel more relaxed, or if you're in an industry where you don't need a lot of formality or stimulation, you can use more colored light. And in this little apartment, what they've done is they've used different colors of light to create different atmospheres, so that the white light might be focused on daytime activities or busy activities like cooking, whereas the warm colored light is focused on more relaxing activities, lounging, sleeping, those sorts of things. Some of you may have that in your houses now. You may have rooms that are white light and rooms with a yellow light. You shouldn't have white light in your bedroom unless you're only turning it on to wake you up. So I've got white tubes in my downlights, which I turn on in the morning, but in the evening I turn on all my lamps, which have got warm colored tubes. So this slide, unfortunately, you can just see, but we've actually used different color temperatures in this room. It's not immediately obvious, but by creating a warm atmosphere at the bottom where there is the entertaining, so you want to create a warm atmosphere because it's more friendly, it's more conducive to people relaxing, but you've got daylight coming in at the top, so we've blended it. So this floor has color changing lights built into it that softens the difference between the warm light and the cool light. So at different times of day, those lights change to create different layers of light. Allowing for daylight in your designs is important. So if you're doing offices, the difference is not so much, right? Because you're probably going to use cool colored light anyway. But if you're starting to use hospitality or work on hospitality projects, you have to think very carefully about the color tones of light and how that changes at dusk. Light can also have meaning through color, and different colors stimulate us mentally, or they create different effects. Example in here, we should all be sitting in purple light to be creative. This is great, I really love this slide. Which slide is the computer angry in? Have any one of you seen this movie, 2001? Yeah. Okay, so this is where the computer is operating normally, and this is where the computer gets angry and starts to malfunction. But that's how you can use light. We can use colored light, not just to make decorative patterns, but you can use colored light to stimulate different moods. And this is a great example. Actually, when you lie on this bed and you look up, you're in a rose-colored room, which is very restful. You don't see the bright red, purple down here. So we've been able to use color to create different moods within the room. You can create a blue mood, you can create a rose-colored mood, you can create a gold mood. And for different treatments, different colors can be used depending whether you're trying to stimulate people or relax people, whether you're giving people an oil massage or whether you're giving them a stimulation head massage. Light and color can also interact when you use the same colored light onto a colored material. So in this project we used red light onto the red wall to make it really red. Have any of you shone colored light onto a surface that's already got that color in it? It's the color becomes much deeper. It doesn't become like a thin coat of paint anymore. It becomes almost something that you could touch. You get a depth of color, so it becomes a lot more rich. So coloured light can also be used in this way to reinforce the colour, and it gives the impression that actually it's just the colour that's generating the reflected light off the wall that's generating the effect, but it's the light and the pigment in the wall colour that's doing the same thing. Reflection is an important aspect of light, and often it can be a negative thing. We often think about reflection negatively in terms of glare or in terms of reflecting the image of the light bulb. But actually, through reflection, you can start to understand the form of things. Through reflection, you can start to also add complexity of things. So things that might be visually simple can be made to look a little bit more complex, which is interesting in terms of your design. It can be interesting depending, of course, that's what you're trying to achieve. In this case, the room was very small. So by using reflecting in the glass wall and locating all the light sources behind furniture or as lamps, the aspect of the room doubled. You increased the size of the room. The interesting thing about this screen, and I'll move on to this point soon, is that it's as a reflective material, but it's also translucent, so you're getting a doubling up of effect. So it's important the way that light might interact with materials, both in terms of translucency and in reflection, because we can use reflections to add more interest or complexity or size to space. Reflections can also add colour. So you can see in this instance, the same white light is shown on the white cube, but one's in a black box and one's in a red box. So in the red box, the light reflecting off the red adds a blush of colour onto the white cube. So if we go back to that exhibition centre that I showed you with the red wall, what we were doing with the red light is just reinforcing this to try and make the red even more powerful. But you can see even with white light, colour can be used through reflection to create a soft light effect. We might use that, for instance, in painting the inside of a cove colour. So we've done a project before where all the insides of the coves were painted in a kind of fluorescent yellow colour, and what came out was a very soft yellow blush. With wood, you can see that. Okay, you can see the sunlight reflecting off these Venetian blinds, creating a soft, warm light around the edge. And in our work, we can combine all of these things. We can combine light reflecting off materials. Here, these lights had gold interiors, so they warmed the light very, very warm. We can use direction of light to cast shadows and create interest. We can use uplight to light things. Uplight also built into the screens. And then, of course, we can use contrast to show where things are important. In this case, the kitchen's important, and also the display. All of those things can be combined into the way that we might do our interior spaces. The way that material and light interact, I think, is something that we should be focusing more on, because just by using simple light, we can, and the way we shine that light through things, we can create pattern. So another important aspect of lighting design is creating pattern. In this case, it's very simple. It's just a downlight that's been installed in the floor underneath these balls to create a pattern. And so the whole corridor was lit in these patterns. That we didn't need any downlights. The way that light interacts with material. Right? We can create pattern and we can create interest. And we can take that and use that in architectural ways. Okay, so the previous one was an art installation. This one is an architectural installation. Light is interacting with material, creates pattern down here, and it creates a focal point. The kind of nice thing about this is that it's kind of voyeuristic. You can, like the person sitting in the spotlight, and you're looking through a veil at them. Light built into material can also give a richness to the space. In this case, the whole space is covered with pattern. In this case, it's not projected, it's just a backlit pattern on the wall. So in this room, there were focal downlights coming down to focal on tables or on people, but generally most of the lighting was coming through the wall.